In this video, I will explain my choices for the strongest team in Pokemon Emerald using Blaziken as your starter. This team was able to defeat all the mandatory trainers in the game from Roxanne all the way to Champion Wallace, finishing the game with a level cap of 39 and an average level of around 37. Wallace's team has a level cap of 58 and an average level of around 56, which makes for an average level gap of around 21 levels. A gap of 10 levels is already considered very underleveled, so beating Champion Wallace with a 21 level gap is not a task that just any team can accomplish. Comment down below your favorite Blaziken team for a chance to be featured in my ongoing Best Team series. I am DFuego, and this is the strongest team for Pokemon Emerald using Blaziken as your starter. In crafting any team that I advocate as the strongest in a Pokemon game, it is essential to identify those obstacles that require a specific strategy to defeat, and know what that strategy is. If you are unable to do this, you are doomed to create a team that is unable to overcome certain obstacles in the game without extra grinding, and such a team cannot be called the strongest. The members picked for the team are those which enable the team to execute the strategies needed to overcome all the mandatory trainers in the game. That being said, since this is an alternate starter best team, it has already been established that Blaziken is not the most optimized member to include on the team, so we have to understand how he contributes to the team so that we can pick the members that best complement his abilities. Blaziken is strong against Brawly's fighting types due to the move Peck, Watson's Magneton, Norman's Slacking because of the move Dig that exploits Slacking's Truant's ability, Elite Four Sydney's Shiftry and Cacturn, and Elite Four Glacier's Glalie. He doesn't really make a big impact against the gyms, so a chunk of the team's manpower needs to be focused there. A good place to start is Watson's Electric Gym. There are two types with a defensive advantage that have Pokemon accessible before this gym, which are Ground and Grass. The only available ground types before this gym are Golem and Nincada, but Golem's stats far outclass Nincada's. As for grass types, aside from Trico, who is not going to be picked due to being a starter, the grass types available before this gym are Ludicolo, Shiftry, Balloon, Vileplume, and Blossom. The grass type by itself does not provide much to later obstacles in this game, so Blossom is eliminated from contention. The poison type does not contribute much to later obstacles either, so Vileplume is eliminated from contention. Water is a great defensive type for tackling Elite Four Glacia's Helios, but Ludicolo's grass typing cancels out his resistance to ice type moves. Shiftry's dark typing is useful against Tate Liza and Elite Four Phoebe, but there are other Pokemon that can take down these two obstacles and contribute more to taking down other obstacles in this game. That leaves us with Golem and Breloom. Golem is useful against Flannery's Numel and Slugma, Norman's whole team, and Winona's Swablu. Breloom is strong individually against Roxanne's Rock-type Gym and Elite Four Sydney's Mightyena, Cacturn, and Crawdont. When supported by other team members, he can take down Norman's Spinda and the first of Elite Four Glacia's Helios. His move Leech Seed helps the team in sticky situations. Breloom is more useful than Golem for other obstacles in this game, so he is the best option to overcome the third gym. The next obstacle we have to prepare for is Flannery's Fire-type Gym. The types with an offensive advantage against fire are Rock, Ground, and Water. Flannery's Fire types use special attacks that are boosted by Sunny Day, and Rock types generally have weak special defense, which make them vulnerable to Flannery despite their resistance. Since Ground types are neutral to Fire types defensively, they are vulnerable to Fire types as well. There is one ground type that is also a fire type, which resists fellow fire types. However, we already have Blaziken on the team, which makes his inclusion redundant. That leaves us with the water type. The water types available before this gym are Pelipper, Ludicolo, Azumarill, Seeking, Gyarados, and Tentacruel. Neither Gyarados nor Seeking learn a water type move by the time we challenge this gym without a significant amount of extra grinding, so they are eliminated from contention. Pelipper's only water-type move available before this gym is Water Gun, which barely makes an impact against Flannery's Torkoal. Ludicolo's grass typing neutralizes his resistance to fire-type moves, which makes him vulnerable to this gym. That leaves us with Azumarill and Tentacruel. Azumarill is better equipped to take down Flannery because he actually battles Flannery as Azumarill, while Tentacruel battles Flannery as Tentacool, who has significantly lower stats. In addition, Azumarill has the ability Thick Fat, which halves the damage of fire and ice type moves. Outside of Flannery, this ability makes Azumarill useful for battling Elite Four Glacia's Helios and Glalie. Azumarill also has access to the move Rollout, which can be used after setting up the move Defense Curl to sweep Winona's Flying type Gym. Tentacruel is also well equipped to take down most of the obstacles that Azumarill overcomes, but Azumarill slightly edges out Tentacruel because Tentacruel does not have access to moves that take out Winona's Skarmory and Pelipper. Also, Azumarill can hold his own against Tate Liza's Xatu and Claydol, while Tentacruel is vulnerable to both of those mons. Azumarill is the best Pokemon to overcome Flannery's gym. Up next is Tate Liza's gym. This gym is the most difficult to defeat because it is a double battle, which provides a scenario where Tate Liza's Pokemon can gang up on one of your Pokemon and take it out with stab moves. By this point, there is a 5 to 25 level gap between their Pokemon and ours, depending on how you distributed the experience points you obtained from mandatory battles among your Pokemon. This means Tate Liza's Pokemon outspeed yours and get to move first. If they take out one of your Pokemon before you move, you only get to attack with one Pokemon, which probably won't make much of an impact because of the level gap. It also does not help that a good chunk of your team is not yet fully evolved. There's no escaping the fact that most of your team will wipe to Tate Liza, so the member we picked to overcome this gym must be able to hold its own despite fighting a 1v2 battle. There are 4 options to do this. The first is to use a Grass-type Pokemon since 3 of Tate Liza's Pokemon are weak to Grass. However, Solrock knows Flamethrower, and Grass types don't make much of an impact against the Elite Four. The second option is to use a Ghost-type Pokemon. However, Ghost types are neutrally vulnerable to Psychic moves, so a hit from both Tate Liza's Pokemon that are in battle will most likely take them out. The third option is to use a Dark-type Pokemon due to Dark types being immune to Psychic-type moves. This is not a bad option since Dark types can also take down Elite Four Phoebe, but there is another Pokemon that can handle Phoebe and also assist teammates in taking down other members of the Elite Four. The fourth option is to use Gardevoir, who knows the move Imprison, which prevents opponents sharing moves with Gardevoir from using such moves. Gardevoir learns Psychic, which is the stab move used by Tate Liza's Pokemon. By banning Psychic, Xatu and Lunatone are unable to attack, and Claydol and Solrock have to rely on coverage moves. Claydol is still a threat because of the move Earthquake, but Gardevoir has the Trace ability, so she can trace Claydol's Levitate ability to become immune from Earthquake. Gardevoir can take out Tate Liza's Pokemon by boosting her special attack with the move Calm Mind, so that despite Tate Liza's Pokemon resisting Gardevoir's stab move, she will still one-shot them. The move Calm Mind also dampens the effect of Solrock's coverage moves since they are special attacks, and Calm Mind also increases Gardevoir's special defense. Outside of Tate Liza, Gardevoir can sweep Juan's Water-type gym, Elite Four Drake's Dragon types, and a good chunk of Champion Wallace's team. This is because of the moves Calm Mind and Double Team. Calm Mind maximizes her special attack, and Double Team creates a situation where the opponent's Pokemon can barely hit her. Gardevoir makes more of an impact against later obstacles in the game than the other options, so she is the best Pokemon to defeat Tate Liza's gym. However, it takes many turns to set up Calm Mind and Double Team, so we need a Pokemon that prevents our opponents from attacking while Gardevoir's evasiveness is still low. The best way to do this is to put the opponent's Pokemon to sleep. To pick the Pokemon that induces sleep, let's take a look at the obstacles that have not yet been accounted for. The best typing to take down Elite Four Phoebe is Normal, due to its immunity to Ghost-type moves. And there is one normal Pokemon that learns Yawn. That Pokemon is Slacking. The main thing holding Slacking back is his Truant ability, which only allows him to attack every other turn. But it is still doable to beat Elite Four Phoebe despite this ability, and a big reason for this is that his stats are top-notch. His move Yawn helps Gardevoir set up Double Team and Calm Mind to sweep Elite Four Drake and Champion Wallace. Slacking is the best Pokemon to both set up Gardevoir and take out Elite Four Phoebe's Pokemon. The last two Pokemon that need to be accounted for are Elite Four Glace's Walrein and Champion Wallace's Wailord. I'll focus the discussion on Elite Four Glace's Walrein to make the discussion easier. Walrein is a problem because he has access to the move Sheer Cold, which one-shots any Pokemon it hits. Normally, the move only has an accuracy of 30%, but this is increased by 1% for each level it is above our Pokemon. Our team is at least 15 levels below Elite Four Glace's Pokemon, so the accuracy rate is around 45%. Considering that our strategy with battling Hercelios revolves around Toxic Stalling with Azumarill, there is a high chance Sheer Cold will hit Azumarill due to the many turns Walrein has to use the move. This makes Walrein a formidable opponent to overcome. But what if I told you that there is a way to ensure that Walrein Sheer Cold never hits? This probably sounds impossible at first glance because there is no typing that is immune to Ice-type moves. However, there is an ability that makes its user immune to any move that isn't super effective against its typing. That ability is Wonder Guard. There is one Pokemon in this game with Wonder Guard. That Pokemon is Shedinja. Shedinja has a dual typing of Bug and Ghost, and Ice types are not super effective against either type, so Shedinja is immune to sheer cold. If you look at the rest of Walreign's moves, Shedinja is immune to them as well. Shedinja is the best Pokemon to take out Walrein. Now, it is important to clarify that you should not use Shedinja while Elite Four Glace's Pokemon use Hail. Shedinja only has 1 HP, so if he gets chipped by the Hail, he will be taken out. Defeat the rest of Elite Four Glace's Pokemon first, and then rotate in Shedinja when the Hail has stopped. Fortunately, Walrein does not know Hail. Shedinja is also useful against Norman's Lanoon, Tate Liza's Lunatone, Juan's Whiscash, Celio, Crawdont, and Kingdra, Elite Four Sydney's Crawdont, Elite Four Drake's Kingdra, and Champion Wallace's Wailord, Whiscash, and Gyarados. Shedinja's Wonder Guard gives him quite a big advantage against major obstacles in this game, and he can serve as a reliable backup when other team members fail to take them out. Shedinja is the best Pokemon to defeat Elite Four Glace's Walrein and Champion Wallace's Wailord. And there you have it, the strongest team for Pokemon Emerald using Blaziken as your starter. Blaziken is the first starter I used when I played Pokemon Emerald, and Pokemon Emerald is the game that introduced me to the Pokemon world, so Blaziken has a special place in my heart. I'm glad I was able to craft a team that enables him to beat the game without having to resort to extra grinding. If you think you have a better Blaziken team, drop it in the comment section below for a chance to be featured in my ongoing Best Team series. That's pretty much it for this video, thanks for watching. DFuego, signing out.